ladies and gentlemen. It has been a minute since we have gone live, and that's what happens in the off season, mixed with some procrastination. Yes, I know, and yes, that's flickering of a candle. Today we have summer's nights. Maybe I should start doing candles for each live. But it's been a minute. That's what happens in the off season, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I mean, just not a lot of like big news. It's just a lot of talks. And I was looking at the news earlier today, and a lot of it is just you know Tyreek Hill looking to prove himself next season, or you know, I saw one that was like Xavier Legette, wide receiver out of the Panthers, going into his second year, great rookie year, but he's looking to negate his drops from his rookie year. So it's just that kind of little stuff. But I do have just a few headlines that I did see that was interesting. Um, just because it's a little bit of trade talk, not everything around that area. So yeah, not a lot. But today's main topic is predicting the AFC divisions. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna place last? Mainly, we're gonna talk about the winners because we talk about winners on the show. Um, yeah, I mean, this one was just a little bit tougher because of one division. I feel like I've got all the right winners, right? It's just putting them in order because I do want to get all of them correct, but mainly I am looking at who I'm going to get right at 1 and at 4. So we'll start off with some news. Hello to the first viewer. How are you? Hope all is well. God bless you. So let's get right into it. We're going to be talking some NFL news real quick. Starting off with this is the first headline. Jonnu Smith in talks with the Steelers about a trade. Okay, going back to the Steelers, he's currently on the Dolphins. Looks like he is going back to the Steelers in the sense of Arthur Smith. He would definitely get some more targets, I believe. It would be definitely interesting to see how he works with Pat Freiermuth, as well as Darnell Washington, the young NFL prospect out of Georgia. So I think that would be a great trade for Jonnu Smith, but not great for the other guys because we know how Arthur Smith likes Jonnu Smith, especially in the Falcons days. But the next one is you have former center David Andrews is retiring after playing 10 years with the Patriots. He was released in March. So usually that kind of happens with those older guys where it's like, don't really have to get into it all after 10 years of service with a team like the Patriots. So, it is what it is. Abigail says, hola, hola, Abigail. Eli Carroll says, hey, my name's Eli. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. And then, hi, cutie. I don't know who that is, and I don't know how to say that, so hello, God bless you. And Amen says 1-0. So what does that mean? 1-0. Fantasy Blitz, always up, right? And then our last but not least news, this is probably the biggest one. It's Joey Bosa injured his calf. He's likely out until training camp. I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Bills fan or any other sort of fan that has interest in Joey Bosa, just because, it's so early. We are in May, we're in April still, but oh no, he said the Asian All-Star 1-0 to Man U. Yeah, I know. Times are tough, but I still got the flag flying, man. No worries, all right? So, no worries there. It is what it is, but we're talking about the NFL. I did not need the slander. It is okay. Eli Carroll says, I'm a Bills fan. Hey, Bills Mafia. My roommate is a Bills fan, so that's pretty cool. I've been watching some Bills games pretty recently. Yeah, so that's it for the news. Like I said, off-season news is very, very dry almost. It's a lot of just talks, a lot of rumors about guys wanting to be better, coaches with their schemes, and what each player team is visualizing for next season. Of course, you're going to see that all throughout. So pretty cool stuff. Amen says, hi from Malaysia. Hello, Amen. How are you? Are you a Man U fan? Or are you just a Man U hater? Let me know. But yeah, let's get right into the AFC rankings. We'll start off for the Bills fan of Eli. We have the East. I've got the Bills winning it, of course. I don't think this is a terrible division. I just think that there's not a lot of competition in there. However, the Pats have made some moves. The Jets have made some moves. So that rounds up 2 and 3. And I have the Dolphins ending at 4. I know they have a great team. I know they're great in the regular season. But I do believe that the Pats and the Jets will make a big jump in this upcoming season that will essentially put them above the Dolphins. And all that you really got to do to beat the Dolphins at the end of the season is just win a playoff game. And I don't have much confidence in the Pats or the Jets just yet winning a playoff game, but I do think they'll make some noise this year. But I do have the Bills winning it all for the division. I do have them going to the AFC Championship next week. I'll talk about actually, and then 2 weeks. Next week we'll do NFC standings, and then after that we will do the playoff picture, or essentially the final rankings, final predictions, or preseason final predictions, I guess. But yeah, round up the East, we have the Bills, the Pats, the Jets, and the Dolphins. And then for the West, and I'll save that one for last because the West has just a lot of stuff going on. Amen says, I go to the stadium, Bukit Jalil to see MU. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I bet that was fun, or is fun. So we'll go up to the North with the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns. That is not the order. However, I do kind of have it's just with the AFC North, I was going to say I do kind of have an idea, but I feel like everyone has the same idea almost every year. It's either the Ravens or the Bengals, and especially with the recent years that's going on. The Ravens have been on fire. They keep adding to their team and also not adding as much as other teams and still being able to perform in the regular season. Just waiting for the Ravens to make that playoff push in the Super Bowl. So we'll see how that goes. So I got the Ravens winning it all there. And then I have the Bengals finishing second, still with the playoff spot. And then I have the Steelers at 3 and the Browns at 4. Now, I do think that it's going to be a tight race 1 through 3. Of course, the Browns are probably going to drop off. We don't even know who their quarterback is. Nick Chubb's going to leave probably, so it looks like they're going to have Quinshon Judkins as their running back, which is a rookie. It's never like the greatest idea to have a rookie be your running back, especially in like a second round, third round pick. So we'll see how he goes. I do think he's an incredible player. I just don't think it's enough to push him through. Like I said, especially with not having a quarterback. Yes, they do have a great defense. Getting Mason Graham next to Myles Garrett, phenomenal draft pick, I believe, the more I think about it. But it's just not enough. The Steelers, quarterback play, it's just not there. However, their defense is always phenomenal. Mike Tomlin knows how to be just above mid every year. So that's interesting to see. And then we have the Bengals at 2, like I said. Bengals, I think, can get it done. I'm not saying this is the ceiling for them. I do think they can finish at top of the North. But I just think the Ravens are on fire, especially with me being a little bit of a Lamar Jackson and Ravens fan. That's no bias behind it. I just think that the Ravens have these teams' numbers in the sense of winning the division. This is the toughest division in the AFC, but I like it, and also I'm breathing really hard. I don't know why. I feel like I'm a healthy young man. I don't know. I'm not reading that, doctor. I'm just not gonna read that. I'm sorry. Make sure you hit that like button, though. I really do appreciate it. All right, then we're gonna move on to the South. This is the crappiest division, I think, in all of sports. You can say hello to me. Hello, Sprout. How are you? Maybe it's the crappiest division in all of sports. Whoever decided to put the Jags and the Titans in the same division, straight to jail. That is an awful division right there. So that has the bottom two for me, and the Titans and the Jags. Now, obviously, I believe the Texans, and I say obviously because of how terrible this division is. The Texans could easily go 9-8 and still win this division. I feel like they could go 10-7, but it would be like a rough 10-7. Dropping some games that they shouldn't have dropped, winning some games they shouldn't have won, or just by the skin of their teeth or whatever it is. So this one's but I got the Texans winning it all in the South. Then the Colts at 2 and the Titans at 3, and then the Jags at 4. Jags, same deal, kind of with the Browns. Like they do have their quarterback, but how much more time are you going to give them? They didn't really improve much in the offseason offensively. They did lose Christian Kirk, one of their better receivers, to the Texans. So losing a great player on your team, adding him to a divisional rival that's already the best team in that division, it's just not looking the best for the Jags. But I think the Texans are a good team. I just think it really helps that they're in the AFC South. If they were in the East, honestly, any of these other divisions, they're probably not winning the division. So CJ Stroud, you're definitely blessed, I think, being put on the Texans and in the South of the AFC. And then last but not least, we do have AFC West with the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders all lining up there. This is a great division. I think the Raiders are going to make a big jump. I think the Chargers are going to make a pretty big jump as well. Um, and then the Broncos, I think, are a great team. I think they're ahead of schedule. So the Broncos are a phenomenal team, in my opinion. They're not the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs until they're not. And what I mean by that is someone's got to beat them outside of the AFC because it seems like in the AFC that is their realm, um, and they're just going to keep winning. And I mean, they've got the Broncos number, they have the Chargers number, and they have the Raiders number. And this is no diss to any of those teams. It's just the Chiefs know how to win. They have Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the modern era. So yeah, I think the Chiefs win by a landslide. Maybe they win it in week 15, week 14, which in that division I think is a landslide because I can easily see this division going down to the final. But the Broncos could make some noise easily. That's another playoff team, I believe. I would love to see that game against the Bills and the Broncos again. Bills definitely had a better second half, which won them the game. But I am excited to see Bo Nix and how that offense works out. But yeah, so let's go over it real quick one more time. The East, we have the Bills, the Pats, the Jets, and the Dolphins. And then on the West side, we have the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders. And then on the AFC North, we have the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns. And then the AFC South, we have the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, and the Jaguars. I can easily see the Colts and the Titans being swapped. I just see the Colts being a little bit better, considering their quarterback play. They do have some depth behind Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Cam Ward will be great this year. However, it's going to be really, really hard to take that Titans team to another level. Honestly, not being the worst team in the NFL is an improvement, and I've heard someone talk about this with college sports in particular. If your team goes 5-7, no, let's make it 4-8, 4-8, and then the next season you go 5-7, still a losing season, but you are progressing, right? It's going to take some time, especially with getting a rookie quarterback who's never played in the league. Is great talent, phenomenal talent, but it's going to be a whole lot harder to make that next step. But they are in a very easy division to win. So I can see them winning some games that they're not supposed to win, like the Texans, and then they pull it off. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders, same thing. Drafting Ashton Genty, I feel like was the best player available and also best fit for their team. I just don't think that's enough to get them up. They did make a lot of moves, probably the most moves out of any of these teams to improve their franchise. Getting Pete Carroll, then you get Geno Smith, and then you get Ashton Genty. It's like the Seahawks all over again, except it's the great value brand of the Seahawks from back in the day. And then same for the Dolphins. Like, I just don't see it happening this year. I think they have to blow it up. I think they got to do something next offseason because they haven't really done anything this offseason. They got to have to blow it up. The Jets getting Justin Fields, that's a great pickup, I believe. I think he will thrive over there. He is on a 2-year contract, so there's not a lot of pressure for either sides or either side because if he stinks it up in both, it's over. But if he does great in both, then obviously contract extension and, of course, playing in New York. They're either going to love you or they're going to hate you. And I think if he does well, they're going to love him really, really, really well. But the Bills, nothing really changed except adding Joey Bosa. That's a great pickup. Nothing else to say about them. Browns, not great. The Steelers, who's your quarterback? The Bengals, still a good team. Can your defense figure it out? And then for the Ravens, just keep doing what you're doing and just hopefully keep winning your games. And winning the division is a very, very much so thing to want to win or an accolade that you want to put on your record. But the Ravens are in so deep that they don't really want to, not win playoff games. And I think in order to do that, you have to have a great regular season and prepare for the offseason or for the postseason. So I have the Ravens winning it just because of the motivation, and also they didn't really change much, and that team is already solid enough. Derrick Henry signed an extension. They did sign DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, he is older. I'm not saying this is an elite signing, but that's going to be, I think, helpful, especially with Zay Flowers, because it was all Zay Flowers the past couple of years, and now they've got D-Hop, which can add just a little bit more chaos in their offense to throw off the defense. But yeah, that's it for this stream. They're going to be short ones just because the offseason, there's not a lot to talk about. But when we get into the regular season, a lot of it's going to be rankings, starts and sits, of course, And then we'll have our Tuesday and Thursday show. Tuesday for the waiver wire. And I did just get a new job, so I'll definitely have more free time for those Tuesday shows. And then hopefully we can start getting some more content in as the offseason rolls around. I just hate how long the offseason is for the NFL. It's unbearable at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just play football now. Everyone's ready, right? But yeah, that's it for the stream. As always, I really do appreciate you guys. I know the offseason's slow, but bear with me. Season 3 of Fantasy Blitz incoming and loading. So appreciate y'all. Like I said, God bless you guys. Y'all are the best. God has blessed me with the opportunity to do this and to keep this channel rolling. So I really do appreciate it. Love y'all. You're the best. God bless. Be kind.